Welcome, folks, to yet another action figure review here on the MoDXtra Games and Collectibles channel. I'm Chris, and in this installment, I'm going to be taking you through the G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Firefly figure. So stick around, we're going to talk about his aesthetic, how does he look, we're going to talk about his articulation, how does he pose, and we're going to be talking about the accessories selection and the added value that does or doesn't bring to the action figure experience. But before all that, I'm going to share with you the live unboxing of the figure that I did just a couple of days ago when he arrived in the post. So travel back in time with me now, folks. Travel back to see the live unboxing of my very first experience with this figure. Right, here we go then. Here is the Firefly packaging. You can see we're still in the windowless boxes with the black frame, the digital render of the figure, the piece of artwork up the right-hand side, the little breakaway corner showing off all the accessories and goodies, the name, standard, what we've seen before. Another excellent digital render there. Firefly obviously showing off his explosive talents in the background at what looks like some kind of beach resort-y kind of scene or something. And then the wonderful painted artwork up the right-hand side here. Been really loving the artwork of late. It's just a shame it's such a small feature on the packaging. Then on the back here, we can see that it's number 84 in the line. Got the digital render with the goodies showed off again with the measuring stick up the side, showing us that he's just under 6.3 inches. A couple of pickies with some breakaway highlights. They're very proud of his balaclava, and they're very proud of his Cobra logo paint application on the shoulder there. So great job, Hasbro. Import sticker just here, all the legal bollocks and malarkey, and then of course the data card across the bottom, which looks like the import sticker's gone over that there, but that looks like a skull, which is clearly because, as we all well know, according to the law, Firefly has an archaeology degree from, I want to say, UC Berkeley for that. Then we've got what appears to be a manila envelope in a kind of, a nope circle, which I think is possibly because his admin's not so great and they've had to, put it on his development plan for his annual appraisal over at Cobra. Then we've got the Sticks of Dynamite here, which is obviously in recognition of Firefly's love of BTS, particularly the single. He puts it on when he's jogging. And then some like cogs and like a little metal screwdriver thing, which I think may be reflective of Firefly's weekend hobby, which is watchmaking kits. He makes old-fashioned pocket watches from kits that he buys on eBay. On this side here, we've got a larger version of the artwork that's on the front, and then number 84 again. And then on the other side, we've got the QR code. I ran this recently. It takes you now to some virtual Scrabble. Very G.I. Joe relevant, and then a repeat of the data card that's far too small for any normal human eyes to engage with. And that's it. There we go. That's the packaging. So let's get this bad boy open. Pop the tape at the bottom here, and as usual, we will have the weapons locker, number 84, Firefly's name on the side, and then he'll be in the artwork frame here. There he is. We'll get started with the weapons locker then. Pop the top open there. There's the baggie with all the goodies. And, of course, the paperwork. Get the top of this ripped open like you might do with a secure diplomatic pouch. Tip that out there. Lots of goodies here. So we've got his backpack, his little radio-controlled bomb planter. Oh, the wheels move. I'll have a closer look at that in a minute. His night vision goggles, little submachine gun with a magazine and a suppressor. A little remote trigger for the bombs, a couple of mines, and a handgun there, and a dagger. That's nice. And then Firefly in the artwork backed cardboard frame there. More of these plastic ties on these, so one sec, I'll just cut them off camera. And there we go, chop them there so I can take him out nice and easy. And there we go, folks. There's Firefly with all his goodies. So regular viewers will know the routine by now. I'm going to go away and get some good hands-on man-child playtime in so I can gather some solid review thoughts before I move on into the next section. So stick around because future Chris is going to be with you to do the 3 A's in 3, 2, 1... Here we go then, folks. Feast your eyes on Firefly version 2 then. Absorb the visual experience of this bad boy. And I'm pretty certain what has stricken you is the same as struck me when I first clapped eyes on this guy, and that is how much more in line with the original comic book and cartoon aesthetic from the 80s he is. He really pulls on the nostalgia heartstrings, doesn't he, this guy? They've stripped away the protective explosive vest and stuff, they removed a lot of the bulk, brought him back down into a little bit more of a kind of sneaky infiltrator, you know, behind the lines operative type guy, running interference, doing disruptive activity. So it's not just about his kind of explosive stuff. He's just a sneaky schnook, you know, getting out around and about, which I like. I enjoyed his appearance in the IDW continuity, actually, as a little sort of assassin, stroke infiltrator, stroke, you know, counter operative type guy. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it, definitely. Moving in a bit closer, you can see there's loads of sculpt detail, paint application detail, textures and whatnot to really bring the figure to life and help us with our storytelling. Starting with the head there, you can see, like with many of the other G.I. Joe Classified series characters that are wearing masks and balaclavas, all the work is happening in this eye area here. They're communicating everything through eyeballs and eyebrows. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty convinced that that little gap there is selling to me how much of a mean-ass SOB, ruthless bastard Firefly truly is. He's just got something in the eyes, man, something in the eyes. So communicating a great deal with just that limited real estate there from the eye area. But the mask itself has got some creases and folds. You see there's little bits of texture there as it's stretched over the top of his nose and around the chin. The paint applications on the camouflage really stand out on the face mask too. You can see there, although that continues throughout the figure. In fact, I really like the camouflage paint applications. They're, again, definitely giving it a bit of shelf presence. So that's nice to see. And then little things like the collar of his polo neck jumper, his warm polo neck jumper there underneath his fatigues, sticking out from the top there with a nice piece of texture. You can see the zips and the pockets on his shirt as well as the collar. Shiny shirt syndrome again. G.I. Joe Classified, come on, stop making these chest pieces so shiny. But then in the this shoulder piece, this webbing, we've got all his pouches sculpted in, his grenades, his spare clips and such like. A few paint applications on this as well, which is always great to see, with the grenades painted black and the ammo clip pouches painted green. That's the same here on the belt with these, what are these, like flash smoke grenade type things? The buckles, the studs, textures in the straps. We've then got the classic G.I. Joe Classified trouser fabric texture in there, the knee pads, the boots, loads of stuff in there just to really bring the guy to life, really give him some personality and character and make it, you know, have some depth and some dimensions, some 3 dimensions to it. So really into that. Nice paint application here on the left arm with the Cobra logo, little splash of colour just to bring it to life. But then moving further up this side, you can see in his kind of thigh storage area here, more paint applications to add further splashes of colour with a bit of green, red and black on there. Love it when they put paint applications on these extra ancillary hangy-offy bits. So one of my peeps on the G.I. Joe Classified Series Discord group that I belong to, apologies for forgetting specifically which one of you fine gents it was that said it, but they mentioned at the time we saw the digital renders that this Firefly seems to have a bit of a fortnite-y, cartoony, video gamey vibe about him, and I can see that. I can definitely see that. There is a Fortnite character, isn't there, that's got a similar camouflage, uniform design and aesthetic about him, and I've seen him about on merchandise and stuff. My son plays Fortnite, so I've seen him knocking around, and I get it, I get that, and I can see why you might find that perspective. I don't think it's too bad, actually, when you've got him in a display in amongst other G.I. Joe figures, that sort of disappears. You stop seeing that view, but I could understand why anyone looking at this might go, well, he does kind of look like that dude from Fortnite. For sure. So I'm definitely going in with a thumbs up on aesthetic for Firefly version 2. I appreciate the nostalgic nods, but they've still not entirely turned their back on the classified philosophy of sort of modernising and contemporising, but they've managed to keep that classic look. You know, anyone who's familiar with the G.I. Joe cartoon or the Real American Hero comic books from back in the day, or Action Force as the case may be for me, then you see that and you go, it's Firefly. Look, it's Firefly. And they're definitely selling the type of operator that he is, and yeah, it just all adds up. Very happy with the way he looks. He's got good shelf presence, looks good in the display. Everything's top notch, so thumbs up, recommend on the aesthetic front. On to the articulation now then, folks, and it's the standard G.I. Joe Classified Series articulation scheme. No deviation from what we've seen many times before with figures in this line. So I'll do a quick rundown for anyone who's new to the line and watching this video for the very first time, but any of you folks out there who's had a figure in hand, you'll be very familiar with how Firefly works and moves. What I will say, and I'm very sad to report, is this is now the third G.I. Joe Classified Series figure in a row where I've had trouble with joints. I've had... No, fourth, in fact, because I've had 3 with super stiff articulation, particularly in the elbows and knees, and you'll see in a minute, I'm still struggling with the knees, even after a bath and some hairdryer action on it over the last couple of days. And then I've had 1 super loose, so, I don't know what's going on there, but they've definitely got some kind of QC challenges with regards to getting the joints just right, just that way we like them. And I know it's par for the course to have to heat up your figures and do some remedial activity there, but I feel like you shouldn't have to. So there you go, just getting that out of the way. So my final score is probably going to be affected by that a little bit when I come to whether I recommend on the grounds of articulation or not. But that's just mine. That's just my figure out the box as I've experienced it over the last couple of days. It may well not be yours. Let's get started above the neck then with the head. We've got the ball at the top of the neck there, giving us some up, giving us some down, full 360, bit of tilt in there, and some, all that good movement in the neck. So that's all good. No complaints there. Butterfly joint giving us some shuffle in the shoulder, then the full 360 around there like so. Hinging the armpits giving us the T-shape. Swivel at the top of the bicep and tricep. Pinless double elbow bringing us up to there. Standard G.I. Joe hands there with the peg taking it into the arm. So we've got the full 360 swivel. Then on this left hand we've got the hinge forward and back. And on the right hand here we've got the hinge up and down. Then in the torso, we've got the diaphragm cut there across the middle, which gives us a good ab crunch forward and a good bend backwards. And then there's the ball swivel in the waist there, hidden by the belts, but you can see good range of motion in there. Standard drop-down groin that you've seen on G.I. Joe Classified Series figures before, so that's all fine and dandy. Giving us a decent range of motion forward. And decent-ish splits. The gun holster here attached to the belt affects this right leg a little bit. Swivel at the top of the thigh. Pinless double knee getting us up to there. Really stiff and cranky, like anxiety-inducing stiff and cranky there. Swivel at the top of the cut of the boot. And then the hinge and rocker at the ankle. So yeah, I've got to give him a thumbs up for articulation really, because I like the G.I. Joe Classified Series articulation scheme, but in terms of personal experience, that thumbs up comes down more to the middle, because I'm just a bit unhappy to experience these crusty, stiff, horrible, stressful joints that get stress marks on them when I use them. But I'm hoping, as I've said in previous reviews, that that's just simply an experience that I've had with my figure, and you guys will be fine with yours. So it's a thumbs up, because the articulation with G.I. Joe Classified Series does give a wide range of possibility and lots of fun to be had, and I can't take my one figure and say that that's going to be reflective of the experience for everyone. So yeah, it's a thumbs up on articulation up to the usual standard. Ironically, I suppose you'd argue that about the QC issues too. On to accessories now, and I'm going to get started with his little submachine gun thingamadoodad. Single piece of moulded plastic. The magazine is removable, like so. It's got the sculpted details in there, which give it a nice touch. It is possibly the flimsiest, bendiest gun I've come across in G.I. Joe Classified to date. This little single, this bit here is crap. Absolutely crap. When it came out of the box, it was literally S-shaped. I've managed to heat it back into some semblance of a straight line, but yeah, super bendy and wobbly. And then when I'm trying to do some stuff like put it up into his shoulder and have him aim down sights, it just bends. It's annoying. But that comes with a little suppressor. Anyway, here it is. I'll pop that on the barrel like so. Oh, I'm trying to do it by looking at the screen and not my actual hands. There you go. There it is with the suppressor on it. which is a nice looking piece of kit. Adds to the whole, narrative of Firefly being a sneaky dude behind the lines. So yeah, into that like that, but I can see myself swapping that out for something out the Volibear's weapons pack for sure. Then we have his small arms, which is his little pistol and his little knife daggery thing. The pistol, I think we've seen that before, but it's, again, single molded piece of plastic. It's got some nice sculpting details in there. Does the job. You store that on the figure. He's got a thigh holster for it, just here. That's a nice tight fit, sliding into there like so. And then the knife would have been nice to have had a bit of a paint application on the blade there rather than just plain black, but it's got some nice sculpted details in there too. That can also be stored on his body. He's got a little knife sheath on his arm. Just in there, like that. Right, onto the fun stuff now. Look at this. He's got his little radio-controlled explodey thingy. I don't know what... does that plant the mines? Does it explode it of its own accord? That looks like a big lump of Semtex on the top there to me with the green paint apps there. But whatever, it's cool. He's got his own little radio-controlled car. And as a big man-child, that appeals to me greatly. Firefly is one of us, folks. He's got his radio-controlled card. He's a big nerd too. And I'm really loving the fact that the wheels turn on this as well. So that's a nice and definitely a fun little added extra there. If it does plant mines, then these are the mines that it plants. There's two in there with Firefly. Holding it up to the camera there. Juvenile me. And I'm sure juvenile you thought the same. We really got to grow up, lads. Just carrying on in this constant state of arrested development. Come on. Anyway, here's the mines. Little paint application on the top of them, little red dot. Nice sculpted details in them to bring it to life. These have got little peg holes in the back as well, so that they can be stored on the backpack, which I'll be showing you imminently. But again, obviously a big part of the storytelling element of your figure, so really nice for your photography, nice for your displays, do interesting stuff, and then just a good old-fashioned vanilla pose. You can get him playing around with some landmines. Here's the little trigger mechanism for the explodey radio-controlled car. At least I assume it's the trigger mechanism for the explodey radio-controlled car. Got a little paint application there with the number 3 on it. I like the little trigger design, fits well in the trigger-shaped hands of the G.I. Joes, little aerial sticking out. It's a nice touch. Couldn't find anywhere to store that about his person or on his backpack though, which is a bit of a shame. I'd have liked a little pouch maybe around the back here or something just to slot it in. It's a bit of an oversight, that, unless it's there somewhere and it's one of those kind of sneaky ones that they've put somewhere that I've just not managed to track down after a few days playing around with it. So if anybody has figured out a nice storage space for that, let me know. But still, fun accessory nonetheless, and again, ties into the storytelling of the character. Then we got the backpack here. This is a lovely piece of backpack work from the G.I. Joe Classified Series team. Nice sculpted details in there with more explosives and grenades and what have you. Got this, I don't know what that is. That looks like one of those bombs that mixes 2 different liquids. Or something. God knows what Firefly's up to, but it's got nice paint applications there with the little computer panel on the front and the keypad there, painted in the lighter grey, then the unit's black, and the whole thing's in this dark grey sculpted plastic. One nice touch here, you can see it's got a nice contoured back on it there, which really helps with the placement of it on the figure. And then you can see all these kind of pegs and doodads hanging around. So these are for storage of the various accessories. So we've got this thick peg at the bottom there, which carries the radio-controlled explodey car. Got these 2 little pegs at the sides here, which hold the mines. And then we've got the peg here on the right-hand side, which you can use to hold his submachine gun through the trigger guard, if you so choose. And that fits on his back, nice and easy with those lovely contoured lines with the peg like so. And then finally we have his these night vision goggles. I'm assuming they're night vision goggles. Again, anyone down there who's a lot more in the know than me, let me know in the comments. But again, some lovely paint applications to bring it to life with the green and the red all kind of lit up in this kind of luminescent colours. It's nicely sculpted. Came out of the box perfectly shaped for his head as well. Wasn't misshapen in any way, shape or form. Much better implemented than the tunnel wrap goggles there, because they fit on his head beautifully. Look at this. Look at that. Lovely tidy fit there. Nice as. I love these actually. I've had these on him for the duration. I think they really add to the aesthetic of the character. So it's definitely a thumbs up from me on the accessories, despite the bendiness of his submachine gun. I love accessories that really tie into the special function of the character. I love accessories that are good storytelling accessories, and I like ones that can be used with other characters in my G.I. Joe Classified Series line, which all of these can do. Really love this. It gives him a proper menacing badass look, doesn't it? So altogether, really good value. Very pleased with the accessory selection on Firefly. They just open up a world of possibilities. So there we are. Figure comparison time now, folks, and here is Firefly with Copperhead, fellow Cobra absolute lunatic and fully face masked dude doing all his work with his eyebrows and his eyes. Speaking of fully face masked badass Cobra dudes, here he is with Storm Shadow, who is also doing all his work with his eyes and his eyebrows. He's also doing a lot of work under my studio lights, blinding the fuck out of me. And here we go, folks. Here is a Joe from the other side of the display shelf, because number one, I like to show my Cobras off with someone from the other side, but also to point out that Lowlight is going to be the next G.I. Joe Classified Series review on the channel, coming soon. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed so you don't miss out. Okay then, folks, here's Firefly going around on the turntable now. This is the pose that I had him in on the shelf when I kind of settled down last night. The story I'm trying to tell there, he's sneaking around, he's having a little snoop about in the dark looking for places to leave his nasty little surprises. And yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Other than the gun, the bendy gun, I'll probably have to swap that out. But overall, yeah, this is absolutely a figure I recommend. The only comparison I can't give you is with the first release of the Firefly character, because I don't own the first Firefly figure. In fact, I found it really impossible to get my hands on one back in the day, so much so I gave up at the price it was going for on the secondary market. So I can't speak to whether he's a good replacement for that, I'm sorry. I know some folks will be looking for some insights into that answer, and I'm not able to provide those today, but I've enjoyed the figure a great deal. I think he's got a really cool, badass kind of aesthetic thing going on. I like the playtime, the man-child playtime that I've had with all his accessories and, you know, his specialities, and I like that he's got the original kind of nostalgic look. So it's thumbs up all round, except for the creaky knees and the creaky elbows, but as you can see, a bit of heating has got me into a better place with that. So there we are. Thanks so very much, folks, for watching my review today. There's a bazillion other channels you could be watching, and you've chosen mine, and for that I am very, very grateful. Don't forget to hit subscribe, especially so you don't miss out on the Lowlight review that's coming down the pipeline, because I know you folks will be chomping at the bit to get a look at that guy too. Otherwise, do all the other buttons down below, give us a thumbs up, send us some money with a super thanks, or even go to the length of joining the channel and throwing a bit into the kitty each month to help me with the financial costs of running the channel. And tell some friends. If you think someone might be interested in my stuff, tell some friends, get them to subscribe too. I'm so close to the 1,000, I can taste it. And a massive thank you to everybody who helped me get this far. So have a wonderful day, everyone. I hope you are enjoying yourselves. Oh my God, I've let the ending go. Well, I do hope you're well. I mean that legitimately, but I ran out of steam there. Did you see that? That was dreadful. Okay, well, ta-ra now. Now his back's to the camera. Come on, Five. Come on. Oh, I'll tell you what, while his back's to the camera, see what I did? I've tucked his little trigger into the handle at the top there. There you go. There's an interesting little bit I threw in at the end there to deal with my inability to do an outro and close off the video well. Somebody suggested in the comments I should write something down and just read it out, and I think they may be right. Okay, there we go. He's back round. I hope you have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye now.